Could that just put him over the edge?
I'm not too sure. I don't think they did well.
He's a bully.
I'm just so sick and tired. I'm hanging on a wire, a foot over the fire, and it's burning. I can feel it inside. Done with the same cliche, done with the day after day. There's got to be a way. Now is the time to break the tie. I'll live, I'll die for what is wrong and what is right. I'll take the pain for all the ones without a name. To be invincible, we'll be invincible.
They still have a lot of holes to fill.
We'll be invincible.
Every
He
time
didn't get fired. He didn't get fired. No, he didn't
Fine.
get fired. He never got his contract renewed.
Welcome, everyone, to Two Guys in Hockey Talk. I am Pawel the Cat, and my beautiful co-host, Evan Rev Reynolds. Evan, how you doing?
Hey, man, doing fabulous. Another day, another dime, as I always say, because they take the tax money, which we're going to talk about, and I might rant about a little bit later in our show. Man, it's been a great week. I hope you guys are doing great out there in hockey world. So tonight's guest we had planned, so just if you were looking forward to Dwayne Hay, former NHLer, ECHLer, AHLer. He's done it all. He also has his own hockey development schools and camps. He is out of Ontario now. He had also been in Calgary formerly. I believe he come out of Lethbridge. His voice has gone down. So I got a call in the early AM hours that he wasn't going to be here. We have tons of content, though. We are jam-packed still for our show. We've moved Dwayne Hay to April 3rd. So, Pawel, man, we are ready to go with another episode. What episode are we on today?
Episode 21, Season 5. We are rolling right. So grab your bevy. Welcome, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You got nothing. All right. Invisible. Okay. Awesome. You're a French mime. I love it. Cheers, everyone.
Hey, guys. Cheers, man.
We have a lot going on. Yes, we're missing out on a beautiful guest, but there's a lot to get through in hockey world. So let's start with the All-Star Weekend. Evan, your initial or overall thoughts of the event, any highlights?
Oh, man. So, you know what? This I would rank in the top 3 All-Star weekends all-time NHL.
Wow.
Now I wasn't around when they actually played against the Stanley Cup champions. That I still like that idea, Stanley Cup champs versus an all-star team from the rest of the league. I'm not sure, but they found a way to make it exciting. No more of those gimmicky little things that they talked about, you know, remember Ovechkin and Trevor Zegras and all the crazy breakout things. I hated that stuff. That was ridiculous. I didn't like it, but the skills was actually, you could tell the $1 million on the line. It actually helped some people. We can talk about Kucherov and stuff, but man, it had the best of the best out there. It was enjoyable. The draft, it was okay. It kind of felt like, you know, back home in the days of street hockey, but the tournament, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. There was some back-to-back action that I actually enjoyed with it. So overall for me, as high as an A+, I'm going to give it got to be this year. It got to be.
Oh, wow. Bold. Well, it was definitely full of highlights. Lots going on. You know, McDavid winning the very contest he created was one of the architects for. You know, you have Michael Bublé on microdosing on mushrooms, which was quite hilarious. And honestly, have to later clarify on with Steve Dangle on a video he did. Come on, like it's fine. It's enjoyable. Justin Bieber and Tate McRae. Justin Bieber performing in over 2 years like he hasn't performed. Getting out there, rocking the house. The PWHL game, that was really fun on Friday night. The draft was a little silly, but honestly, overall, it was a great success. There's definitely things they could work on. Now, it's not going to be on next year because there's a few announcements that we're going to get through of what was announced and in Gary Bettman's press conference. But overall, I thought it was fun, and I honestly enjoyed. Now, the one critique I have was that Nikita Kucherov didn't try. But come on, it was hilarious. Like, he loved playing as a villain. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, exactly. I think Kucherov just played to it. He didn't really give a crap about it. In fact, once he knew he wasn't going to win, he honestly missed the first few, and then it was just like, and if you want to give Kucherov crap, then you might as well look over at Draisaitl, shooting accuracy and the passing. I mean, Draisaitl just blew it, and he didn't look very enthused during the passing either. He kept going. Maybe he was a little bit quicker, but you know what? Sometimes going quicker doesn't actually help. So I don't know. And by the way, that's the only one I didn't. And so to all the women out there and all the supporters of the PWHL, I apologize. My time, I didn't get in the PWHL game. That was the only one I didn't get in for you guys. And so I have to apologize. I'm going to go back on YouTube and check it out.
Well, you go. Okay. So there's been a lot of rumblings about what's been going on after Gary Bettman's press conference. And the first thing I kind of want to quickly touch on, because we've been kind of alluding to the story, is the London police report, the presser that had happened with the police chief there. And it sounds like the NHL is going to honor the contract of these last few players, the last four. Formanton, of course, was already playing overseas. And they were all RFAs. They're essentially not going to extend them. And it looks like they're going to be waiting for the court date to make a decision for potentially a court case as early as 2026. Now, this has been reported predominantly by Rick Westhead. He's been doing some really good reporting on this, so go check him out. And essentially what it comes down to is that these guys, some very key people, and you can look at Carter Hart for the Philadelphia Flyers, are going to be off the team. And all these teams have to continue to move forward without these players. Mark, great to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you.
Mark.
Your thoughts on kind of the whole status of the report, players being kind of done and dealing with the legal, essentially, end of things.
Oh, yeah, sure. So I'll tap in on that. I just want to say hello to Mark. So those that don't know, Mark's going to be with us in a couple of weeks here. So Mark, let me just get this down. You're coming on February 28th. So Mark Allred, man, great to have you come on, man. It's going to be a great show. So make sure you tap in there, guys. See, he's just pushing the agenda, man. He's going to come loaded and ready to fire those days. So, yeah, I want to be careful what I say around this. I think that because of the legalities, the one thing that people got to just get off of is being upset at the teams for getting a cap allowance back. So they get the cap relief for whatever the number was for the rest of the season, in that number for them not being able to play again. And so let's look at this. Yes, some of the teams already signed new contracts knowing that there was still this in the background, so they did take risk. Some didn't, but it's not fair to penalize a team when someone has a personal case going on the side. And the thing is no one even knows who, and this is where I'm trying to be careful, because right now it's alleged. Now, if it proves to be legit, obviously they're going to face jail. They're going to face a lot of other charges with it. But let's be honest. Looking forward to talking hockey with you both. Great hockey conversation when I tuned in the past few weeks. Thanks so much, Mark. And we're looking forward to chatting with you too, man. So yeah, I think it's really important that we keep proper sight of this. First of all, can we please be respectful? As we always say, man, have a great time, banter back and forth, have a different opinion, but be respectful of the players. We don't need to be calling people names. There's going to be justice. That's the bottom line that they've been aiming for. There's going to be justice. And don't be looking at the family members. Don't be picking on other people that may play in the NHL that are connected, or other leagues and stuff like that, to the players. Let's let the process play out. They're no longer playing professional hockey at this moment. I know we might be angry and upset about things, which you're more than entitled to do. But again, let's be respectful out there, especially on your social media places, because I will tell you this. if I see people getting pretty ignorant and going on like they did with the whole Connor Bedard stuff, man, you're out of my streams. That's it. It's just like, yeah, I'm not going to listen and I'm not going to follow. And that's just the way it is, man. I guess it's not a rant.
It's
I
like
think
one
it's
of the
just
comments
honesty.
in the Greg is that these are millionaires. Not a single one of them will see the insiders. So
They will. They will. I think they will.
We'll have to wait until that time comes. I mean, it is what it is. So not an easy topic to transition from because it's not very pleasant to talk about. But I think we need to get into a bit of a rant, Evan, because there's been some rumblings about some stuff, and I want to go off of it. So let me give you the rant of the night. The rant of the night brought to you by Sports Empire for all your sporting needs. All the guys out there, Freddie, Gene, everyone doing great work. Kyle for his Boston Bruins. We appreciate it. Go check out anything you want to do with the NFL Super Bowl coming up this weekend. You've got NBA happening. You've got MLB. You've got wrestling. Oh, these guys cover everything and anything under the sun. So we love it. Love you guys out there. So there's been talks, Evan, about not a lot of clarity about the Arizona Coyotes. And it looks like we were supposed to get some clarity about an arena of getting even boots in the ground, or shovels in the ground. We got nothing. During the press conference, Mr. Gary Bettman said, he's generally optimistic. It sounds to me like this team is going to be moved. And the reason I say that is because Kevin Weeks, who's pretty dialed in, posted a photo of Salt Lake City, Utah with mountains. Do we then see a team being moved now to Utah and see the Arizona Coyotes finally end like that whole experiment, right? Now, I get it. I know why Gary Bettman was pushing for it, but really, is this really necessary? Like, stop feeding it a lifeline. It's dead. It's not working. I'm going to a game there, so I can attest to that I will put my dollar where my mouth is this coming April, provided nothing changes at the college arena. But there was a recent anonymous NHLer who admitted that playing in this arena is BS, right? I'm quote unquoting. So your thoughts on this whole Arizona thing? Could they move to Salt Lake City? It would stay within the western side. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, do we know this NHLer? Did he?
No, it's anonymous. It's anonymous. Just
anonymous.
Like
anonymous.
I have one more thing to add about it because there was another thing that was brought up. But go ahead.
Do it. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
There's another anonymous player that really talked about how silly and counterintuitive it is that Shane Pinto got suspended for 41 games for gambling when they have Bet365 on their helmets. You see,
it is so true.
It is. It's like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. But again, will Arizona move? Because they were supposed to get something going, even a deal. It doesn't sound like anything. And, owner Alex Meruelo, is he willing to sign? Will the board, governor's board, come and step up and tell Gary Bettman, listen, we've tried this for way too long and it's not working. Mark says, Utah is going, we'll be hockey ready when the Olympics come in 2034. Ooh, bold. That'll be interesting. He does own the Utah Jazz. He does have deep pockets. It's not an expansion feed, so it's not going to be the same as it was in Seattle and Vegas.
Whoa. Why do you think it's not going to be the same as an expansion feed?
Because it's selling a team. You're selling it, just like they did in Ottawa, to different ownership.
So we got to remember there was just a sale of the Ottawa Senators, a team on the bottom, and they just got bought for almost $1 billion, more than the cost of actually an expansion
that went
franchise.
to the owners of the thing. That didn't go to the NHL.
Correct.
The board approved to sell it. I'm saying expansion fees go to all the other owners together. It's split up. In the last one, Seattle didn't actually get the expansion fees. So it was the other 30 teams when Seattle came in because of how new Seattle was. But I'm talking about the money would, so it would be Alex Meruelo selling it and his shares of the team towards Ryan Smith and his partners or whoever's involved.
So, breaking news. Ready?
Okay.
So, just so you know, hang on, I'm trying to see.
You're blurring out.
I'm blurring out. Oh. So I like to say to everyone, there will be breaking news. Breaking news. My name is Evan Weeks. No, I'm just joking. Kevin, I have no idea why you cover up and you do up to the nose kind of a thing with all your pictures. It is hilarious, man, but it definitely attracts attention, even though it looks so unprofessional. But the guy is great in the know. I actually agree with Mark on that very thing. I do wonder. I know that they would like to look at the Smith Group as coming in and potentially having an expansion franchise, which could be, but the relocation is looking more and more. So they've had 2 places for sites. They were supposed to have something in place. They have nothing in place. There's not even a decision. Elliot Friedman now has come out and actually said, I mean, Elliot's pretty much calling it the way he's seeing it. And it's just like, there's no way this could be where the NHL has to take over this franchise. There's still, now this is, I haven't saw this reported, but I've heard from a couple rumblings that they say they can't announce anything, but let's see if it happens in the next couple weeks here. But
well, they're saying there's reports that it could come as of the day after the Super Bowl.
So you need to stop and say, why would Elliott say that the NHL could take it over or they could sell it? Here's why. Because I'm hearing they still owe money. They still owe money on some stuff. And so to sell that team, it could be where the NHL has to step in. This is a total joke of ownership again. And he can't be negative about this. They have to keep the value of the franchise. So that's why you're seeing Bettman actually saying what he said. But if you notice, he had fun with Ron McLean during the All-Star break, even in the way he spoke, as opposed to outwardly trying to act like all coy about the whole situation. So I do wonder if they could just look, because who's ready the quickest? And Houston is not quite as ready as Utah.
Their arena is ready to go. I think it fits.
No, well, they have an arena. They have an arena, but they have a lot of other things they need to have in place. So that's why Smith Group, I believe, are the front runner for a relocation.
Well, and he's pushing. He's come out and pushed for it. So,
so here's another piece. There has been reconnection again to I was going to call it Comic-Con. What's the group in Quebec with the franchise? So there is now another interest.
The telecommunication.
The Giant. So one of you guys know who it is. So throw it there in your statements and stuff like that. But so anyway, there's rumor that they've actually got out there now, and it's just a matter whether the NHL. So there could be a potential where Quebec does still get a team.
Entertainment.
So Comstat, that's what it is. Thank you. Yeah, because it was Videotron originally when they went to do the setup. Quebec
Jordan says Quebec Core.
Quebec Core.
Jordan used to work for them. So he's dialed in. I can't even imagine Jordan's age. He must be as old as Frank Ciravelli, I think.
So my thinking is this: could we be looking at an uneven for a year, and we have in the same time? Yeah, they have an arena and aggressive owner back, but you are right. And I actually posted, Mark, I did an article on the Houston Coyotes as a potential. I think it makes most sense to throw a team in Utah and over there, and then give Quebec their team and get one more team in the East, which could be something like Kansas again or another team. I can't see, I guess Atlanta, but I see a 34 league teams in I can't even speak tonight.
40. I don't know. We talked about this on a previous episode. They talked about having 40 teams given the amount of money
40. We never talked about 40 on this show. What are you talking about?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay, you go back and find me that clip. Oh, come on.
Oh, man.
40.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, but either way, there's a lot of potential expansion.
So anyway, so
that's what's happening. But I get it. So we'll see where this goes. We'll be keeping our eye on this because this is a very developing story. And I really think there's going to be coming some news in the coming weeks here. And we're going to have some clarity about that franchise. And As I hate to say it,
Okay.
the Coyotes are doing well this year. They're building up to being a good team. They're not there yet, but we'll see what it is. And Mark says,
Look for a
or
move.
move the Yotes to Houston and get new expansion teams for Salt Lake and Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. I mean, you want to make it even, right? That's kind of the ideal thing. I know Quebec has been talked about a lot, but you have to understand from a business standpoint for the NHL, you already have the fan base. You go to NHL.com, you can get Quebec Nordiques items, memorabilia. You can get hats, jerseys, scarves, whatever you can think about. They know that they have a market there. The problem is you're trying to expand the amount of eyeballs on your product, and you want to go to markets that are not really common.
Well,
look at
it's really about TV, right? It's really about TV.
Well, that too. But you look at a team like a Carolina. No one thought Carolina would be successful. And here we are. They have a Stanley Cup. They're a competitive team. They have some excellent ownership with deep pockets, Todd Dundon. So you can make it work. Go ahead.
Okay, well, because we're talking about moving into Quebec, that's one of the potentials that we've talked about and stuff, and it's not a TV market. Let's talk about the problem with moving into Canada. And it just came out, and the articles are everywhere today, so you can go find it. John Tavares and the taxation that he's fighting in court right now with the Canada Revenue Agency. Yeah. That's what it's called, Pawel. It's called the Canadian Revenue Agency.
Thanks, Evan.
Thanks. Well, I was saying it while you're trying to throw out the acronym, and none of our US followers are going to have a clue what you're talking about. Okay, so
do you know what the IRS is? Do I need to spell that out too for our Canadian friends?
Yes, you do.
Evan, you think so low of our Canadian friends. Everyone knows what the IRS is. It's the same thing as CRA.
Well, it is. It's the Canadian Revenue Agency.
I don't know.
It's got a different acronym.
Yeah, IRS, but I didn't need to spell it out for you or our fans.
You spell it out based on the acronym. I haven't heard you say what the S stands for. No one even knows what the I stands for. Come on, tell us what it is then if you're so smart, man. Come on, educate me. Oh, you quit looking it up. Quit looking it up. You are looking that thing up.
Internal Revenue Service. There you go. I got it.
I know because I lived in the States.
NHL pays all salaries in US dollars. So until Canadian dollar equals the US dollar, I don't see NHL going back there. I agree. It's one of the reasons why, Winnipeg was moved a few times. Edmonton and Calgary were almost moved as well. And if it wasn't thanks to Gary Bettman and the NHL, they kept those organizations afloat,
Well, and
this
Winnipeg,
was at a time when the Canadian dollar was in the low 60s, 60 cents to the American dollar. Now it's about 75 to 78. You guys can correct me. I'm not a business person, but what I do know is that it's a little bit better, but I agree. And so John Tavares, who Toronto enticed to come there for that 7-year, $11 million contract, and we're getting into year 7 next year of that contract. Yeah. He's now fighting with the IRS because apparently they believe on those bonus heavy options that he was given in that contract that he has to pay 30+%. I want to say 38 or something, 36, 38. And he believes it's only 15. So, and Jordan only knows IBS. He's the only familiar with that. So that's good, Jordan.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, like what? So you think about what you're going to pay in taxes, and if I play down in places like Florida or Nevada, Texas, I'm not paying these taxes. You cannot have a fair system if Canada, and that's going to affect more players playing in Canada. And it's going to affect the bottom end dollar because most of your superstars, high end players, you're going to have to pay more, and it is not a good sign. And I do believe something will happen, and I do think they'll win their court date, but this is going to be a big deal. And so look for this to be a big issue, by the way, in the next election, even though I don't want to get political here. Look for it to be a big deal in the next election in Canada when they vote federal. All right, let's move on.
All right, where do you want to go to next? There's a lot.
Okay, man. Okay, I wanted to talk around the junior hockey. I'm going to skip my 15th this week, bring it next week. So let's do Revs Top 15.
You got it.
Hey guys, what you stealing my thunder? It's my goal when I come up That's not 15. Guys, I just
You don't
want
even
to
have one today, so there's nothing to steal.
you gotta quit it, man. You gotta quit it. You're just like an interrupter. All right. So, guys, this is brought to you. I'm trying to advertise the Kalkaska Battlers of the Michigan Independence Hockey League, one of our sponsors and partners. Just want to put it out there for Andrew Dibble and his team. They're in their inaugural season in the MIHL, which is in its 4th year. It's a semi-pro league in Northern Michigan. You can check them out on their YouTube channels. Make sure you go give them a follow. It's a chance for these guys to try and make somewhat of a career in semi-pro hockey. But basically, what I'm wanting to throw out there to you guys is jump on their channel. Go take a look. Great competition. They got some excellent stuff and they do great marketing. So thanks to our partnership with the Kalkaska Battlers. What a cool name, but they do look like the Columbus Blue Jackets. You guys do got that color going.
I think they have more structure than the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's for another.
Hey,
for another
all right,
time.
guys. So we're pretty pumped. So Pawel and I, we just made our final arrangements. Pawel's going to be joining me, and we're going to be taking the wives out for an afternoon, and we're going to be checking out a WHL game in Edmonton at Rogers Place, because the 2026 consensus, I might say, already #1 draft pick that is ranked, Gavin McKenna. So he is originally from Whitehorse, Yukon. So that's going to be a great thing to be able to see someone from the Yukon coming in. This guy is just lighting it up. It is absolutely crazy what we're actually seeing right now. So get this, his last 15 games, I just threw it down here, 35 points in his last 15 games. Now you think about that, 33 points. He's got 11 goals in his last 15 games. Okay, hang on now. He has just turned 16 a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Just turned 16. He's playing in a league that most people are 18 to 20 years old. Very few players can perform at this level. I believe he was ranked around 11 or 14. I can't remember the exact numbers right now in his numbers coming in. That is absolutely insane. So we're going to get a chance. We'll get some video clippages, hopefully, see how good our little cameras will work that they'll let us use. And we're going to go enjoy a game and see if McKenna walk all over the Oil Kings that day, and or if the Oil Kings will be able to slow them down. And we'll check out some other prospects that are going to potentially be playing. And I'd like to also come back just around some of the stuff that's happening. So one of the interesting things that is now come aboard, and we kind of mentioned it last week a little bit, about the major junior hockey with the Canadian Hockey League. That's the OHL, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, and the Western Hockey League. So all three of those groups, they are not eligible for NCAA play because they're disqualified from playing because they play major junior. Major junior is not eligible to go into NCAA. So that's why your junior A teams, like all throughout the Canadian junior hockey leagues throughout Canada, they are sending teams into the NCAA. And the BCA used to be called the British Columbia Junior Hockey League, now the BCHL. When they stepped away, they start the top producer in Canada for players going into the NCAA. So that's a whole big story. I think we're going to be able to have a big discussion with player agent and owner of the Hockey 2112, Daryl Wolski. And potentially we might be bringing Scott Glennie on. I'm not sure, Scott, if you're actually working with Daryl and doing agency work, or if you're doing something else, but we'll hopefully have you on. But anyway, one of the things is that with everything happening and the defection of the 5 teams going over, they call it defection. They just moved because they're not signed to a contract next year. That those teams leaving, the CHL is, I think, trying to do some quick maneuvering to get players that could now go to the BCHL, because they would have to set up something with the NCAA to allow them to be eligible. They're not eligible right now, and it's because of stipends and payments and stuff that they get. Not sure how that would work. This is about education for a lot of people. So that's kind of a weird story. And I got to be honest with you, I'm a little worried the NHL might have a little something behind this, because they really back major junior hockey in Canada. So yeah, that's kind of a weird one, man.
Well, you made some really good points, and I think we'll see what things what transpires given where we're at, because there's definitely an evolution to this. And again, more power coming back to the players, and we'll see how this comes up. Now, in other quick news, just to note for everyone, is that in the OHL, it was noted today by the Oshawa Generals, I believe it is, that Connor Lockhart has been indefinitely suspended. Not much more is known, but again, another thing we're going to be following. So it seems to me that they're really cracking down on professionalism, on kind of misbehaviors, and really trying to clean up any kind of issues they may have, and reporting it, and following due diligence. So we'll see what takes place there, but just to let everyone know that's taking place.
Cool. All right. And the AJHL, the other thing to quickly mention. So all 5 teams, because of everything that came down, man, every week it's been changing. All 5 teams, if you haven't been following, check out their last shows over the last 3 weeks. The AJHL, all 5 teams are now officially a part of the British Columbia Hockey League. They're going to play one another to play out the season, games against one another in an Alberta division, and then they'll have a tournament at the end. What's not known is if they'll have the tournament winner play against the winner of the BCHL. So that could be an interesting little twist that they could be throwing in. The biggest thing I'm really wondering about is where they're getting their referees from and their linesmen, because all officials, they have to bring officials in that are not Hockey Canada. And now that brings me to Seacoast hockey officials, who we're bringing on at the end of the year with Jared, as well as Austin O'Rourke, who is the son. We just found out today. So, Jared, if you're listening, thanks, man. With Austin O'Rourke, son of Dan O'Rourke, who has been an NHL referee for many years. So they're going to be coming on. And I wonder if this could be some business pickup for them. I'm not sure if they've done it at those levels. I know that Jared's got some ECHL, I believe, or some AHL experience. So that could be interesting enough. But they're going to need more officials.
100%. There's definitely a need for it, given how tricky and complex and difficult the job is. So there's definitely going to be a need for quality-based referees, especially in this ever-evolving game. Now, I do want to mention a few things that have been going on around the NHL, because I know that people come to us, not really, for the news, but
of course they do.
I'm just kidding. But it was announced today that the rookie youngster Matt Poitras of the Boston Bruins, who's played very well and played for Team Canada at the World Juniors this year, pretty well. He got kind of called last minute. He's out for 5 months due to a shoulder injury. You hate to see it, but he's been one of the brighter spots on the team, so it's been pretty impressive. It sounds like Martin Popisil, who plays for the Calgary Flames,
just signed.
Flames fan, he signed after his hit on Brad Marchand, which you got a 5-minute for. Clearly, it pays to hit Brad Marchand, because you get a big contract out of it. So good for him. And it sounds like Brendan Dillon is also suspended 3 games against that he did against, I believe it was Nola Chari, if I recall.
Yeah.
Wow. Mark's correcting me. It's Mapatra, my man. I am so sorry. I sound like Evan right now. I cannot pronounce a name, especially with the young guys coming in. I haven't had a chance to learn how to pronounce their names, and sometimes it changes. So I want to make sure I'm getting it right. So thank you for correcting me. I appreciate it.
All right. Mark is the he is the annunciation police tonight, man. Thank you, Mark.
Yes. And it sounds like the Rangers and Nick Bedino have completely ended their contract together, because he didn't want to assign to our fellow Alex Thomas play-by-play for the Hartford Wolfpack. And so he may find a job. He may retire. He's 35. He's a center. Could be a center depth piece. I know that there's been some trades in the last little bit that we've seen with centers, Lindholm going over to Vancouver. So, and Sean Monahan, which we didn't really talk about last week because it happened, to the Winnipeg Jets. That was interesting for him getting a first. I was surprised. Your thoughts on the trade of Sean Monahan going to Winnipeg?
I think it was a great deal for both sides. I am not on one side or the other more.
I don't think he's worth the thing.
Frank Saravelli. So Frank Saravelli actually already called out. They're going to get 2 firsts because they got a first for taking him originally. Now and unloading him, they were going to get a first. He's right-handed. He's a 200-foot guy. He can fill in the top 6, or he can be a perfect third line guy as long as he stays healthy. He makes them a legitimate deep threat now. So I think it was wonderful. They didn't really have to give up much because what is that number going to be? Maybe it's going to be if they go out after as long as they pass the first round, now you're talking that they're probably going to be like a 22, 24 kind of a place team pick. You're not going to get something that's so incredible probably at this stage now anyway. Frankly, I think anything once you get past about 18, 19 in the draft this coming season, you got a player that's still going to be 2-3 years away, which again is great, but not when you have a chance to make a move like they're doing this year with it. So I'm okay with that.
And 2 other little things of note, which we'll get into a little bit, is that Evgeny Kuznetsov has entered the NHLPA assistance program. I know there's been rumblings about him potentially being traded, wanting out of Washington. That's going to make it harder now, but we wish him all the best in managing his mental health and well-being. Your thoughts on that?
On a side note, Dmitry Kuznetsov, who plays for the Biloxi team in the SPHL, will be joining our show in June. So, Dmitry, if you're listening, we're looking forward to hearing from you. You are the Kuznetsov who we're cheering for, man. Okay, finally, hey, I should mention tonight, Sergachev, though, went off the ice tonight. It just came on before we came on live. So he went off on a stretcher with a leg injury. So I haven't heard any reports if anyone's heard anything since. That's not good for the Lightning. That's a big
loss.
If that's more than 6-week situation, that could mean a playoff already now for that team.
Yeah, they're battling out because you see Boston, Florida pretty much running away with that Atlantic. I mean, really, it's down to Toronto, Tampa, and Detroit. Go ahead.
Okay, you were talking about the Rangers. We're talking about our friend Alex Thomas, play-by-play for the Harper
Nick
Wolf.
Bonino ending his contract.
Yeah, Nick Bonino. So let's talk about the New York Rangers, and let's come over there. Another guest that we're going to be having on, man, we thanks to all of our guests who are lining up on the show. Chris Kostopoulos is going to be joining us in April 17th, I believe it is. Sorry, I'm checking my numbers here. So on April 17th. So, but talking about the Rangers, there sounds like there is a high chance they are seeking out some players. And this is where I wonder if the Anaheim Ducks, as you call them, the Mighty Ducks still, if the Anaheim Ducks are still potentially looking at something that was rumored about a month ago. And now it sounds like from a few different sources that are out there and some insiders, more speculation, and some local writers out of Anaheim and some out of New York are both saying the same thing, as well as pro scouts that are in both of the games they've been watching. So, and look out for Vetrano. That could be, there's another year left, more affordable contract. It'll cost more, but you guys ready? If Vetrano, this is my speculation. Please don't go spreading it out there that it's happening. My speculation is, could they possibly be having a conversation around Vetrano and Henrique to bring them both in, work on some salary retention this year, and something else in that package, and Capo Caco going the other way?
I was told by Ranger fans at the beginning of the season that they're weak on that side where Capo Caco plays, I think on the left side. So, they brought in Blake Wheeler, who's kind of versatile, but really,
Blake's good.
Who are you going to be able to play there? And I said, well, I'm telling you, the guy needs a change of scenery like most players. And Vetrano could be a thing. I know I heard Vetrano to Vancouver. That was a rumbling that I heard as well, because Vancouver's not done yet. But there's definitely going to be some movement with Anaheim. And remember, they're rebuilding. They have a lot going on. And so it'll be interesting to see what pieces move out. I know Adam Henrique was on the top trade list last season. Let's see if he moves this season. The other name to watch out for, again, with Anaheim, and I love trade speculation because none of it ever comes to fruition, but you can always
wing, bud. Left wing. Vetrano's left wing.
Yes, I know. I didn't say that.
No.
I was talking about Capo Caco, and they were Ranger fans were telling me at the beginning of the season that they weren't weak on that. Like they were weak, but they were okay. Like who you're going to replace.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying I can see them.
You never listen to me. You're just making up things. Like, thanks for telling me what a player plays. It's good to know.
Well, it sounded like you were saying they might not let go of Kakko because they don't have anyone to play that wing.
No, I just said the fans at the beginning of the season. My goodness.
Geez.
You've got some wax behind those ears, so you're not paying attention. And look out for potentially seeing what happens with Gibson. Again, talks could always pick up, and look at New Jersey as a team that potentially could potentially make a pitch. Don't know if it'll happen. There's definitely there for that. Now, we have a guest next week. It's going to be Connor Doyle, who's a local writer for the Hockey News, covering the Los Angeles Kings. The Kings are in a bit of a bind.
Woo!
They have fired their head coach, Todd McClellan, great coach, and brought in DJ Smith as an assistant coach to help out the interim coach. So Jim Viller, the name escapes me. Mark's going to correct me on my name. Long story short, there's been a lot of blame put on Mr. Pierre-Luc Dubois. Now, I believe he is not a first-line center. I think he's a second-line center, but he got that big payday. And again, I don't fault players for getting paid, but
he's not a first line there. He's second line.
He's a second. Well, he's asked to be a first liner. It's because Kopitar's getting older. What do they do, Evan? Because they're struggling and they have fallen far from grace. There it is. Oh, he said I nailed the PLD name, bud. Right? We're just doing acronyms tonight. That's what the show should have been called. He's just laughing off the couch, as they would say, right? So essentially, what does LA do? Will DJ Smith help? What does LA do? I mean, Talbot's been overplayed. Goaltending has been streaky. There's been reports of Kaliev wanting out. Now, we're going to go with this through Connor next week. We're going to get in a little bit more details. But what do you do if you're Rob Blake, who's also at the end of a contract and needs an extension and may or may not want to come back? He's built up a good team. They've made it to the playoffs the last 2 seasons. They've developed a lot of young guys. They've picked up some prospects while keeping some of their veterans like Doughty and Kopitar. What do you do? Byfield has really come into his own this year. He's really had good success. Evan, what do you do?
Well, that's the I actually don't think. Okay, so first of all, Dubois has been playing third line a lot right now. Just so you guys know, Philip Danault has been the guy who's been covering that second line with Moore and Fiala.
I like him a lot.
But I'm just saying that the plan was to actually have Danault actually as the third guy, and then the checking line would be Danault playing up on the second, maybe in away games or something. Yeah. But if you think about this, he's playing with Laferriere and Anderson Dolan. Like Luc Dubois, his big thing is playing with good skilled guys. He's a perfect complementary type guy. So they can't play him with the Trevor. And I'm sorry, Trevor Moore is a good, solid player, but he's not top end. You put him with Kempe, you put him with Byfield in place of Kopitar, and I think you'll see his numbers because that's what they're looking for. And I actually think that they can turn this around. I think the new coach, they're going to be looking at all the options. They got to play with this a little bit. What if you move Kopitar down a bit and just put him out there at different times? We know they do that in Edmonton with Draisaitl. They'll throw him out there for a face-off or something and get him off on as soon as they can and get the other guy out there again. I think that that's what you're going to have to do. You got this player for a good period of time, and he needs some, but they need to get some wingers. That's what they need to get. They need to get some wingers who have some scoring potential. Well, maybe they should look at Zegras.
Arvidsson is coming out or coming back from an injury, so I know that his presence has been missed. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what takes place. There's definitely been rumblings about Trevor Zegras. We'll see what happens. I think he's on the move, and I know just look at potentially Montreal as a possible destination for him. Now, Seacoast Hockey Officials is joining us. Hey, boys, looking forward to our pod in June.
There we go.
We appreciate it, Jared.
Sweet.
Welcome,
Jared.
We appreciate
so
it.
Jared, guys, Jared Matrano, we were just talking about you earlier, Jared. So quick thought here, Jared. The BCHL up in Canada, I don't know if you guys have officials that can play up here and officiate up here in Canada, but they cannot go with Hockey Canada at all. And they've just added 5 Alberta teams. Do you have a connection in there? Because if not, we're hearing that they're really short because they need independent contract work with officials. So that'd be a great thing to, maybe you can even shoot me an email. We can talk about more about that because we won't be having you on unfortunately till June. So, but yeah.
What Evan is saying is he wants to work for you. That's what he's saying. He needs a new job.
Yes, because I want to get off this podcast. I want to get off this podcast with this guy who irritates me week after week, right. And he just drives me nuts with his acronyms.
You never listen. He's saying, ha ha. I think we're laughing at your attempt of being able to even think of you wearing an official jersey, but what are you going to do? Now, I will say one thing I saw funny, and for all you young folk, I am pretty old, so don't worry. I saw this really funny thing where this guy made a TikTok video, and when a ref was looking for a job, he was blind, and he was walking around how to find a job at the employment line, and he found a referee jersey, and he's like, this is perfect. I'm going to do this as a career.
Yeah, not quite, right?
You says, Jared says, looking forward to talking with you. So we appreciate it. We're looking forward to it as well. It's going to be a blast.
Okay, let's head over to guys. If you catch our podcast, our live shows, what you're going to find is when we have guests on, we stick to their content. But the moment the guests get off the show and it's us running it, man, we're like bang, 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 bang. We're all over, just kind of like some popcorn.
We're playing 4D chess here. Come on, Evan.
So let's go back to the Calgary Flames. Let's talk about some trades. This is the team that is loaded. So right now, Hanifin, there is a large contract offer now that has been put back. The ball is back in the court of now Hanifin's camp. They can choose this large contract and stay with the Flames. But this is my thing. If it comes down to the last week, if we are a week away from trade deadline and he is not signed, he will be traded. And I believe they already have two trade partners, and we're talking Eastern, not Western, potentially that they could be moved to. So, but I really wonder if Hanifin's going to re-sign. This is a gut feeling. I think Hanifin's going to re-sign, but Tanev, that'll be an interesting one. So who potentially could be out there?
3 teams: Toronto, Vancouver.
Okay. Not Vancouver. It's not happening again.
Why not?
Yeah, he's not going there. They got nothing left to give. They got nothing left to give.
What are you talking about? They can give a lot.
You tell me what. Okay, what are they giving?
Don't they have Paul Colson? Yeah, they have Paul Colson. Yeah, so the Russian young guy.
So what you're saying is, guys, they're not using you. They're just going to send over to Calgary because Calgary will use their trash. Oh, okay. I shouldn't say
Paul
that.
Colson trash?
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant is you don't give up a player that has that without
just to help you not dig yourself a bigger hole. Is Marcus saying Boston could be one of them? I think Vancouver could potentially be on the radar. I don't think Vancouver is done, Evan. I'm telling you right now, they have something up their sleeve. And I know they got Zadorov, and I know they've done this, but they're gonna do something else. And Toronto is probably the top.
I'll tell you why it's not Vancouver, because Tanev was already in a proposal when they were looking at their original deal and they could not make it work. There was no possibility they could make that work. And that's why you're not going to see him go. Like if I will eat puke food on this show.
Eat crow, man.
I will eat crow if he gets signed and traded over to the Vancouver Canucks. He's not going there. It's done. It's gone. Garland could be on the move. Yes. That
he did change agents mid-season at the beginning of this season. Yeah. So just so you know.
Good call. That could be something potentially. Interesting. Wonder what I'm not sure on the salary numbers. So
your thoughts that he wouldn't go to Toronto because Toronto doesn't want to give up their first or one of their younger prospects.
So no, I don't think that the issue is going to Toronto. He'll go to Toronto. But the question is, what does Toronto really want to make a push this year? I know that sounds really bad, but are they really ready to make a push? I
think
don't
you
think
have
they're
to look at
gonna sacrifice.
coaching. I'm saying coaching. Look at coaching. If you don't look at coaching this year, and I know Sheldon Keefe's been extended with a new contract starting next season for 2 more years, and he is a good coach. But
he's on his
think,
way out.
Whatever happens this season, if they can barely make the playoffs and or just lose in round 1 or even 2, is that success really? And I got to be honest, like I love Willie Nylander, but that contract, and we talked with Jeff from Left Coast Leafs. That was not a good contract. He has struggled to put up points in the last little bit.
Sweet. And I will mention that I do believe still that if Woodcroft does not get on with the team before year end, starting next season, you will see Jay Woodcroft
He's getting paid.
back on.
He can relax.
Oh, yeah. The guy would rather be working. Believe me, that guy, all he thinks about is hockey. He can't even take time off when he takes time off. I mean, the guy is just so there's some matches. If you start connecting the dots, you're gonna figure some stuff out. With some
so shout out to Sarah and Josh for watching. We appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.
Hey guys,
let us know any thoughts if you're fans of any specific teams. Evan, we kind of got distracted because you wanted to go off on a rant about something completely different. I want to get back to the Calgary Flames because it sucks like Craig Conroy, who a lot of people at the beginning of the season were kind of assessing that he wasn't doing enough. Nothing was happening. They made a coaching change. Not much was being done. What was this team? And now, he's done 2 solid deals and really retooled on the fly a little bit. And there's still a few pieces that he can work on. Primarily Markstrom, keep an eye out for that because they do have 3 goaltenders. Do you think that Markstrom and or Vladar could potentially be gone?
Yes. One of those goalies to be gone. It's time for Dustin Wolf to come in. They're already making the change. The question is, what will they get? They'll obviously let go of. I believe they want to let go of Markstrom now that they've already made some decisions.
But he's playing better for you than Vladar.
I get it, but his contract is still there in place. I don't have it here in front of me, but
2 more years at 6, 5, 6 or something.
Right now, they're just looking for a shared space like Edmonton had a plan with Campbell and Stewart. I think that's what they want to do with Wolf. And so if they had Wolf and Vladar, I think that they'd be fine. They're not overly worried. They're not making a push for the
$6
playoffs
million.
now.
Look at this guy now for 2 more years.
There you go.
And Vladar's only 1 more year for $2.2 million.
That's why you're looking at moving Markstrom first. If you can't and you can get something, you're going to move Vladar so you can prepare a place for Wolf to get in there and start getting some meaningful games.
He's done. He's competed at the AHL level. He's done very well. Like he's ready. He played well last year when he came up at the end of the season. So Calgary looks like, they're still kind of battling it out for a playoffs thing. I think the one player they really still need to continue to work with is Huberdeau. I think he's getting up there. He's still struggling. He's not putting up the points that you want, but I really worry about how he's going to perform for the remainder of the season because he has a lot to prove. Now, Nazem Kadri has played as best as he can in that role. I think the team is doing okay, but they need to be a little bit better, right? So, and we'll see what happens with Calgary because there's that little mix in the West for that final 1 or 2 wild card spots, really, and it's really up to anyone, which is exciting to see. But it's going to be a great push. Hey guys, I just want to put a reminder out every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you're in the East, that's 9 o'clock. If you're in Pacific, that's 6 o'clock. How far east?
What if Central? They're in Europe? That's 8. No, Eastern Standard Time. If you're over like Sarah is, who will be on with us, so she is the head coach for the New Brunswick ladies team. She will be joining us on a pre-recorded podcast from only 3 hours before, or 2.5 hours before our show, I believe. Something along that line. She'll be coming on and doing quick pre-record that night, just because she's again New Brunswick, right? I mean, you got to be able to get some sleep there.
Great province. Beautiful.
So, beautiful area. And I've never been there. So I apologize. I need to make my way out there sometime. So I just like to mention also, guys, JR Web Designs, one of our partners, they go check out twoguysandhockeytalk.com. We've got some new material coming out. We will have our QR code, so it takes you directly to our site. Check it out. You can find it even on our Facebook page, and you should be on our YouTube channel fairly soon. Definitely go check them out. JR Web Designs, if you're looking to build a website, you're going to get an incredible cost. Like you look and you check the prices out with folks. Then you go to JR Web Designs. You get a quote from them, and I'm telling you, it will be the best quote you've ever got. You're not going to find a better deal, and they do a supreme, awesome job. So definitely JR Web Designs, give them a follow. All right, let's do this. We got 5 minutes left in our show. Sure. Let's talk about our thoughts here. We haven't chatted about this last week, the Four Nations Cup. The Four Nations Cup. So Sweden, Finland, US, and Canada. Other players, NHLPA players, have complained that they're not going to be able to be a part of this. They understand they got to get something off the ground, so they're just going with the teams right now. Obviously, USA and Canada have the highest number, but then we can't have Russia because of the ban that's going on. And they have Finland and Sweden, which are the next highest number, but you don't have Germany, you don't have Slovakia, you don't have Latvia. There's a lot of other people that aren't going to get to play. They don't want to mix in, obviously, like a Team Europe kind of concept at that last World Cup that they had done. So we haven't had even a chance to chat. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm with it. Yeah, Seacoast is saying, come home to Boston, boys. We would love to go to Boston. A friend of mine did his dentistry school there, so that's pretty cool. I really think that it's positive and negative. I agree they need to get something off the ground, and they need to get going with this.
Okay.
The fact that they had only 4 teams, it's a bit of a spit in the face by the NHL. Like, it's a lot of players from other countries, that that were represented aren't really able to play and perform, and to wear your colors is very important. Now, thanks, Marks, for tuning in. All the best. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Stay safe. All the best.
Have a great one, man.
And so I look at it as essentially that, like, why couldn't you include the other countries? Like, what difference does it make, right? Like, even 8 countries, right? I think it's a bit of a cop-out. I'm looking forward to the tournament because you're going to see someone on Canada like Bedard and McDavid and McKinnon and Crosby, hopefully. But, I'm kind of disappointed you don't get to see Leon Draisaitl, perform for Team Germany. There's an honor in wearing your team colors for your country to represent your nation. So, and I get the Olympics are going to happen after, but it's kind of disheartening, right? So
let's talk. So if you think through right now, the top players, if we went and did a search right now and we were looking for the top players right now in the NHL, so you're going to have Leon Draisaitl will not be there. Kucherov will not be there. What's Pasternak? What nationality is he?
I believe he is Czech, I want to say. Where,
Just pulling it in, kind of stats. Okay, I'm just, as we're pulling this up, I'm just looking at the players. So Pasternak, and you're not going to have Panarin. Rantanen, I'm not sure what Rantanen is, guys. You can help me with this. So,
I thought Rantanen was Finnish.
He might be
Finnish. Yeah, he's Finnish. Rantanen will be there.
Okay, yeah. So you'll have Rantanen then. Okay. Weinhardt, Swedish.
You're not going to have Alex Ovechkin, right? And I know he's going to be a little older.
You're not going to have Sebastian Aho.
Seacoast is saying he's Czech. He's Czech.
Okay, Sebastian Aho. You're not going to have him there.
He's Finnish. What are you talking about? You don't know nothing about
Aho. Is he Finnish? He's
yes.
not Finnish, is he?
Oh my goodness, Evan! You know nothing about hockey.
Funny.
Seacoast is saying if it's playing in Boston and there's no Pasternak. Yeah, that seems kind of silly. He's Czech. I told you he's Czech.
I know.
Come on.
No, he's
You're
not.
not going to see a Roman Yossi who's Swiss.
Yeah. Oh, and that's what I was thinking. Aho. Yeah. Okay. No.
You're thinking Aho is Roman Yossi?
Unlike you. Hey. So everyone, unlike Pawel the cat. I actually own up when I make a mistake on the show.
I did own up earlier today.
You didn't own up. If that's an owning up, I
mispronounced the name.
Oh,
And
that's
I
only because you
admitted
got called out. That's because you got called out by Mark, who's going to be a guest in our show.
because
You only
that's
listen
somebody
to the
legit
guests.
calling me out. I don't consider what you
Yeah,
say
you're
legit.
the guy. You're the guy that sits there and says that I slaughter names, and you're the guy that gets
You
slaughtered
slaughter
names
names.
every single week. Oh, I sometimes slaughter them, but not
you're
as.
still not getting good meat from your
Yeah,
slaughterhouse.
yeah, man. All I know is every time you name a Russian player, you can't pronounce it. I don't know what it is.
What you're trying to say is that there's going to be some pretty important players from countries that aren't represented, which really sucks.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking forward to watching the tournament, but I think there needs to be more, right? I still think US is going to be a little bit more deadlier than Canada, and I only say that because goaltending. You look at the goaltending right now, Evan, and you're losing Carter Hart potentially. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to play. You've got Connor Hellebuck. You got Thatcher Demko. You know, you've got some big names up there. You know, potentially Stuart Skinner could be there. Carter Hart was one name. But really, who are you bringing in unless somebody comes in and blows the league away? Marc-Andre Fleury is probably going to be retired at that point. You know, Carey Price, he's no longer there. Who do you put in net for Canada?
Yeah. No, I know. Isn't it? It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy. Well, that's going to call it a wrap.
Aiden Hill. There you go. Jordan says Aiden Hill. That could be it.
Of course. Now, well, what do you mean could be it? The guy just won a cup. Did you see him play last night? I just want to give hats off to Aiden Hill. That guy last night stopped the streak. He stopped the NHL history streak.
He also stopped them from advancing to the Western Conference Final last season.
I mean, yeah, but I think a lot of people thought Aiden's new contract, they were like he got a lower contract just to sign where he wanted to be. So someone that actually is a good friend of his that I connect with on X, I obviously I can't mention the name, but he had told me, he says that Aiden had decided, he knew a month and a half in advance of that contract signing potentially, and he went with less because he wanted certainty. And you know what? He bet on himself, and good on him, because him staying in Vegas, I mean, that guy has some incredible good agility, and he stopped the Oilers last night. So now they get to start a new streak, and this could potentially be what Vegas needed to get back on track and start winning more games, maybe hit some 700 hockey again. So anyway, man, now, it's a wrap.
Yes, we're going to wrap with one final thought I need you to do for me. Oh, come on. And then we're going to finish it all off. Okay. So with the world championships that they're happening, you do know that the players who were on that 2018 World Junior team are not allowed to participate, which means Team Canada isn't allowed to have Cale Makar.
Remember, we're still a little ways away yet. We're still little ways away yet.
No, the ruling has already happened.
No, they don't have a timeline, though, how long that ban is on place for all players. That ban is temporarily in place. Once this gets further down along the charges and to see where things are, by the time Team Canada is ready to play, this could be all dealt with, and the decision could be made to lift.
We're going to revisit this 2 years' time from now. We'll see where we're at. Okay? We'll see how it goes. Guys, any final thoughts, Evan, before we finish up the show?
No, we're good, man. It's been another ring a ding dong dandy.
We appreciate everyone for tuning in again. We had a blast. We're sorry to our guest who was not able to attend, but next week we've got Connor Doyle coming on the show, all LA Kings things. Make sure to tune in at 7 p.m. Western Standard Time. Unless you're in the East, then it's later, according to Evan. We appreciate you guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We always like it. Jordan is saying Team Evan or Team Pavs. Obviously, Team Pavs. Jordan, how dare you betray me in such a way, right? Come on, right? As the wise Darth Sidious said, I find your lack of faith disturbing, okay? So, guys, we appreciate it. Remember to like, share, subscribe. We love hearing from you. You guys are a very engaging bunch. Remember to go to our website for all the latest news around hockey. Evan, take us out.
Yeah, man. And make sure you check out our Facebook page. We keep other updates available all week, as well as our website, as was mentioned. So check out all the social media streams, and as well as follow Pawel the Cat at hockey_2 which he doesn't actually have listed tonight, but he got to get his listing back up there so you can see it. And me at Rev and Ev.
It was in
We'd
the
love to
banner.
have you.
Come on. It was in the banner.
It was in the banner, but we don't always see it. We got a banner a little bit more. Come on. Get a little more professional here. All right, guys. So the other thing is we're going to go out with our song, the exclusive rights that we've been given to Invincible by Penny Billionaires. Give them a follow. Electronic hard rock fuse band. Make sure that you connect with and follow them on all your podcasts. All right, guys. In the meantime and in between time,
keep your sticks on the ice. Thank you. Stay safe.
Cheers.
Could that just put him over the edge?
I'm not too sure. I don't think they did well.
He's a bully.
I'm just so sick and tired. I'm hanging on a wire, a foot over the fire, and it's burning. I can feel it inside. Done with the same cliche. Done with the day after day. There's got to be a way. Now is the time to break the tide. I'll live, I'll die for what is wrong and what is right. I'll take the pain for all the ones without a name. To be invincible, we'll be invincible.
They still have a lot of holes to fill.
He didn't get fired. He didn't get fired. No, he didn't get fired. He never got his contract renewed.